I agree. Yeah. So, so the question is, are these people the same age because maybe that interacts in some way with the dominant submission kind of thing. These people were roughly the same age. They control age in the typical way they do in these studies, like 18 to 22-year-olds, or maybe they were MBA students. They might have been MBA students because they teach in a business school, so they might have been like 24 to 30-year-olds on that, roughly. So they did control age. How would that interact? I don't know. I think a lot of information, a lot of things that cue dominance or high status, like age, education, diffuse status characteristics, gender, all those things, being in a power position, like being a boss versus a subordinate, all those things might interact in interesting ways with this. Like, the most intuitive thing I would think of is that when you have these high power, high status characteristics, you're older, your boss, and all that stuff, if you're interacting with a subordinate, that maybe the complementarity tendency is even stronger, and it even more cues liking and fluidity of interaction, and deviations from it are considered even less common and disrupt interaction even more. And I think that'd be a very interesting place to go. Knowing Laura Teens, I would kind of have thought that she would have tried to do that. So I'll ask her. She's over at that other university, so which I have stepped foot on from time to time. So I'll ask her next time I see her. Yeah. Other questions? This is nice. It's like kind of like a small class here. We got questions and you can get answers. It's like college. Yes. Yeah. So the idea is maybe if you created an overarching identity, then it would flip from complementarity creates liking and cohesion to like similarity does. That'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting, I think. Or another way you could maybe go with it is that maybe if you introduce an overarching identity or common identity, it might increase mimicry or complementarity. Or maybe that's what you were saying, but it might create the reverse causation of like high identification and cohesion induces these things that are highly associated with it, complementarity, mimicry. I don't know why they ever did that. Did they? Yeah, they never did that. You think they would have done that at one of these points? Say, okay, all these things are so highly associated with identity and this common feeling that they cause it. What about the reverse direction? Does identity induce high rates of mimicry and complementarity on these kinds of behaviors that tend towards complementarity? One thing you might predict there is that a shared group identity that brings people together increases mimicry for behaviors that are mimicry, that are the kind of behaviors that tend towards mimicry, but it doesn't create more complementarity for these dominant submission things because hierarchy is sort of inconsistent with shared identity. You know what I mean? Like when you have the shared identity, you think of yourselves as equals, as similar to one another. You don't think of one of you being better than the other. It might even undermine the complementarity effect, maybe. All of these would be fantastic studies to do. Other questions? I feel like we're at Oberlin or something. Like a 20-person class all of a sudden. This is fantastic. This is great. I see what they're always talking about. Okay, so, all right, so some conclusions, some takeaways from this. People tend to mimic one another's nonverbal behavior. Those who tend towards empathy and perspective taking do this more. Mimicry increases liking, comfort, cohesion, and altruism, or these giving behavior. Behaviors that are associated with dominance, however, tend to create complementarity rather than mimicry. And for these behaviors, complementarity produces liking and comfort. So that's the end of the mimicry thing, and we'll move on to another, let's do something else. Let's talk about more automaticity stuff. Because we're not satisfied. We've had some automaticity, but wouldn't it be nice to have more? The funny thing is it does feel a little bit like one of these Oberlin discussion sections. Just I was talking about little classes and all that none of you have ever experienced since high school or whatever. It feels like that, but there's like 300 of us here, I think it's just a contrast effect. There's some kind of social psychology going on there. So, okay, so I made this additional presentation just because people tend to like this automaticity stuff, and I really like this automaticity stuff. So let's talk about more of this automaticity stuff. Okay, so more research on supraliminal priming. What is the opposite of supraliminal priming? And what is supraliminal priming? That's way too long. That's a question requires too long to ask like this. Somebody know what supraliminal priming is? Anybody? Yes. That's right, but you're unaware of its effects, presumably. Yeah. So you're aware of the prime, unaware of its effects. Subliminal priming, unaware of the prime, also unaware of its effects. Okay, so here's another supraliminal priming study, also on tipping. For those of you who are servers, I'm doing my best to help you make gazillions of dollars. McCall and Belmont, 1996 studied the effects of credit card cues on tipping, and the idea was use subtle reminders of credit, the fact that you have credit, or at least you did before this past fall. Does it somehow make you spend your money more freely? Be reminded that, oh yeah, you can like spend money forever, and all you get is just a bunch of annoying phone calls. So in studies 1 and 2, they had servers deliver bills at restaurants. At a restaurant actually in Ithaca, New York, which I can't figure out which one it is. I'm graduate. I tried to figure it out, but they've protected the anonymity of this restaurant. They had servers deliver checks on trays and randomly manipulated whether the trays had pictures of credit cards on them, which they tend now all to have following this research, or didn't have pictures of credit cards on them. And the tipping percentages were as follows. In the first study, they found that people tend to tip 20% as opposed to 16% or 15.5% when there's a little credit card insignia on the tray that they got the bill on. In study 2, the difference was 22% versus 17.5%. So that's interesting, right? People will tip more when they're suddenly reminded of the fact that you can spend infinite amounts of money. And this was interesting. You might expect that effect would be driven by people tend to use credit cards when they're reminded of the credit card. You know what I mean? Like that maybe in this condition and in this condition, the reason that they're tipping more is because they're using a credit card. And people tend maybe tip more when they use their credit cards. They don't have to actually hold the money they're giving away. They just have to write the number down. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe people just spend more freely with a credit card. What's that? Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think people are probably more generous when they don't actually pick up money and give it to somebody. Gotta be true. Yeah. But they actually found this effect happen regardless of whether people use the credit card or not. So it was the case that priming people with credit card insignias, I don't remember if it led to greater credit card use, but even taking that into account, it was the case that it made people tip more because it kind of reminded them that they have money to burn, I guess. Okay, this is a crazy study, which if you're anything like the past classes I've taught, you probably won't believe anything that follows. But I don't know why I do either. I don't know. Okay, so this guy, Brett Pelham, I don't know, and colleagues in 2002 did a study that shocked the world. And indeed, it didn't make it into Gladwell's, I know, that's why you already heard of it. And it didn't make it into Gladwell's Blink, I don't believe. And I think it's partly because people struggle to believe it. Even though I think there's some pretty good reason to believe it. So prepare to have your world rocked. Whew, man, I'm ready. I don't know about you, you're probably not ready. Maybe we'll do it next week. No, let's go. All right, we're ready. Okay, I don't want to. Okay, we'll do it. Okay, so the title of the paper is Why Susie Sells Seashells by the Seashore. Yeah, that's not easy. Okay. And the idea is to test this idea of implicit egotism. And implicit egotism is an idea. Anytime I define something, you want to attach significance to that. Implicit egotism is the idea that people have generally positive impressions of themselves. And this is not new, right? We already knew about this. From motivated reasoning, the above average effect, these sorts of processes, motivated recall, all of these phenomena we talked about earlier in the class, when we're talking about cognitive biases. This is just another one of those. Another one of those self-serving biases where we tend to think we're really, really awesome in excess of what other people think of us. So implicit egotism, right, okay, it's an example of self-serving bias. And one of the effects of this, and we talked about this already, is that people tend to like the initials in their names and the letters of their name more than other letters in the alphabet. This is this relatively strong tendency. And I only picked one example from the crowd here, but indeed, his favorite letter was S, and your first name is, yeah, okay. So it's true. That means it's true. because we have one case. Actually, we have lots of cases of this, so we have good evidence this is a robust effect, and Spencer's not unusual. Well, he's unusual in other ways. He's an individual, and that's important. Okay, so how far can this effect be taken? How far can this implicit egotism effect be taken? Is it just a case that it makes you go, oh yeah, my favorite letter, in my case is R or W, those are my two favorite letters. Is that all it does, or could it maybe direct behaviors, maybe even significant behaviors in your life? And that was the idea behind this. Maybe Susie sells seashells by the seashore because she loves the letter S, and that's the joke in the title. I know, it's a ridiculous title. So, in study 1, they went and they found the most common male and female names that share the first 3 letters with one of the top 40 population cities in the United States. So they took a list of the top 40 population cities in the United States, they went through the Social Security database and found the most common male and female names that have the same first 3 letters. So some examples are Jack and Jacksonville, Philip and Philadelphia. They made a bunch of pairs like this where they're like, okay, these names sound a lot like the these major popular cities: Mildred, Milwaukee, Virginia Beach, and so on. And then they analyzed the frequency of these people appearing in these cities, and they found that people were disproportionately likely to live in cities that resembled their first name. Okay, that's study 1. Okay, study 2. They looked at the 8 most populous states in America. And they found that people with the same first few letters in their last name were disproportionately likely to live in these states. So, I don't know, what's an example of that? Yeah, like people, what would be an example? Why is this hard to do? I can't think of why. Yeah. California, that'd be the first 3 though, right? First few. I don't know what that means. Probably 3. Yeah. Is that surprising now? That's not surprising. I would have expected that. And indeed, all of your last names start with C-A-L. So, I don't know how we never noticed that. How did we never notice that before? Okay, study 3. They took the 8 largest cities in Canada, and they found the same effect again. And again, they used last names. Because they were like, well, maybe they stopped using first names. Why did they stop using first names? Right, naming trends change. Yes? Right. Maybe the causality is different, the opposite direction. It isn't the case you tend to move to California because your name is Callahan, but instead, you're named Jack because you were born in Jacksonville and your parents were influenced by that, or just love Jacksonville so much they want to celebrate it with the name of their firstborn child. So they switched to last names. That was a good idea, right? Because critics would be like, yeah, people name their kids after the towns they're born in. Big freaking deal. And so they found the same effect using last names, again, for the 8 most populous states in the U.S. and the 8 largest cities in Canada. In study 4, they looked at Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Virginia, and Kentucky. Why did they look at these? Because there's very common similar first names that correspond with all of those, like Flo and Georgia and Louis and Virginia. Y'all know what Flo. Don't act like you don't. And I don't know what the one is for Kentucky. Kenny or Kenneth, right? Yeah, okay. So, and they found that people with similar first names were unusually likely to live in that state, and they found it for both men and women. So Louise and Louise are both, disproportionately likely to live in Louisiana. Kenneth's in Kentucky, Florence is in Florida, Virginia's in Virginia, etc. But again, they're back to first names now, so it's susceptible to that critique that people that are born in Virginia are just disproportionately likely to be named Virginia. They did not find an effect for Virgils in Virginia. I think it was honest of them to point that out. They could have buried that effect, but they told us this somehow does not apply to Virgils. I should clarify that for all of these are tiny effects. Tiny effects that you would need to use the entire Social Security database, the entire list of people who live in Virginia in order to find these effects. Very small biasing effects. Okay, study 5. They looked at all U.S. cities that start with Saint something. So like St. Paul, St. Louis, in Missouri and whatever, St. Louis, whatever. All these Saint places. I don't know what's the one of these. St. Paul, I said that one. St. Helena, is that a place? I made that up. Is that it? Yeah. Mount St. Helens. Nobody lives there. It's a volcano. All right, well, anyway, there's these places. They start with Saint, and then they have a name. And they're good examples, right? Because they have Saint and a name, so obviously somebody must have that name. And so they looked at whether people were disproportionately likely to live in towns that resemble their names. So, and yes, people with the same name as the town were disproportionately likely to live in cities with that name. Also, I like this one. People with Saint in their name were disproportionately likely to live in cities that have the same thing. So if your name is like Jill St. John, for example, the 70s actress, who's Jill St. John? Or she like who's Jill St. John? Somebody knows this. Okay, all right. Somebody look this up. Okay, Jill St. John, for example, probably lives in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yes. San. Right, like Santa Clara or something like that. Yeah, San Jose. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if they did those. Yeah, good question. Okay, study 6. They looked at birthdays. They found that people have positive associations with the numbers in their birthday. And I think this is true. I have a really positive association. Like my birthday, 7/6/77. I just volunteered for identity theft just then, and that was a big mistake. And I was like 1 hour from being born on 7/7/77, the luckiest day of the last century to be born, which I just missed. But I totally 7's like my number. It's great. It's like the lucky number, but I like that number. I totally admit that I like that number. And so what they're interested in is do people who have birthdays like mine, where a number is repeated multiple times, like people who were born on February 2nd or May 5th, are they unusually likely to live in towns that have the number in the name, like 2 Harbors, Minnesota, or 5 Points, Alabama? And they found yes, they were. And not like a huge effect, it was like a small one. Okay. Study said it's not done yet. This is the most famous study. Study said they looked at the most common male and female names that resembled lawyer or dentist. And so for women, that'd be like Denise, Dina, I don't know that name, Denise, spelled differently, Dena, Laura, Lauren, Lori, Laverne. Men, Dennis, and Lawrence, Larry, Lawrence, and Lawrence. And the results were that the men were disproportionately likely to do the job that resembled their names. So Dennises are more likely to be dentists than our Lawrences, and Lawrences are more likely to be lawyers than our Dennises. If that makes sense. And Denises, Denises are more likely to be dentists than Lavernes, and then Lavernes are more likely than Denises. Though these are very small effects. All of these effects are really, really small, but statistically significant. Study 8, they looked at Georges and Jeffreys, and they found they were disproportionately likely to publish articles in the geosciences, which is so weird. I guess their argument here is Georges and Jeffreys are unusually likely to go into the geosciences, like geography or what have you, or geology, and that's weird. So also, this one's really, really weird. People with the first or last name starting with H or R were disproportionately likely to have hardware stores, but not roofing companies, and then R's, not H's, were disproportionately likely to start roofing companies, but not hardware stores. So if your name starts with an R, you're usually likely to become a roofer and maybe start a roofing store, and then or sell roofies or whatever. And then if your name starts with an H, if your name starts, that was bad. I should have done that. When your name starts with an H, then you're unusually likely to be in hardware. So right, okay. Okay, the likelihood of naming your hardware or roofing company with an H, for example, Honolulu Hardware, and not your name, not like Harry's Hardware, like Honolulu Hardware, or I don't know, Repossession Roofing or something like that, was unusually likely if your first name started with an H or an R or whatever. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay. All right, so conclusions. Implicit egotism effects receive support from all these studies. There's a lot of studies, right? A lot of converging evidence. They also conducted some experiments that converged with these findings. Like they would show you like clips of like football plays, and then they would manipulate whether the person's number was your birthday or not, and then you would say that you liked, your favorite player on the team was like more likely. I'm not making sense, but so they showed you, they somehow manipulated whether the football player in some clip you're being shown, and they controlled everything else, whether his number resembles your birthday or doesn't, and then you liked him more and thought he was like a better football player if his number was your birthday, which is weird and interesting. But I don't know about you, this is still very hard to accept. And one of the big things here is how many effects did they look for, not find, and then not put in the paper, right? Because if they were running, say, 100 analysis, or say they were running, they're using a 0.05 significance level, which means that the effect is considered statistically significant if there's if statistical analyses tell us that there's a 95% probability that it's true. So that means that what they could have done is there's no real effect at all. They ran 20 times as many analyses and then just presented the 5% that passed that threshold. And that'd be our concern. They ran 200 analyses that were all plausible, found 10, 1/20th of them, and published those in a paper, and it looks really convincing. 10 straight studies with no exceptions. But maybe it's the case. Can you all point over there? Thank you. Maybe it's the case that they ran 190 other effects that they didn't get, in which case we would just be totally bogus. There's no real finding. So what do you think? Do you think it's real or do you think it's not? Raise your hand if you think it's real. I'm like, I don't know. Yes. Okay. What do you think it's not? Okay. All right. Very interesting. Okay. All right, so one last one, we'll take a break. The first instinct fallacy. Somebody asked a few days ago, does the apartment buying study suggest that snap decisions, or does all this automaticity research, what does it say about snap decisions? When you should go with your first instinct on like multiple choice tests or your later instincts? A research question very close to all of your hearts as you take all these multiple choice tests all the freaking time. So people generally think that you're supposed to go with your first instinct, right? This is kind of the advice that you get, right? Like on a multiple choice test, they're like, go with your first instinct. All else is equal and you don't know which one's right. You got two options, go with your first instinct. And actually, even GRE prep books, Kaplan books and stuff tend to say this. They say, common wisdom suggests just go with your first instinct. But did they ever really systematically study it? I don't think so, based on the results of this research. And one of the ideas behind this research on the first instinct fallacy is that just because automatic thinking is fast and for some tasks is very effective, like thin slices, it's pretty effective. Just because it can be fast and surprisingly effective doesn't necessarily mean your first instinct is right or is your best answer. Remember the apartment buying study where they showed that actually having 3 minutes to do further non-conscious thought works a lot better than a first instinct snap decision. Yes? Really? Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the person review maybe doesn't make the same mistake that Kaplan does of teaching people to do the first instinct fallacy. But regardless of how much, I don't know how they would rig a test to like go against your first instincts. I don't know. I guess they use middle schoolers as a way to test what your first instincts are. I like that. That's great. Your first instinct is not a child. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that. That's good. Automatically, we're tiny children. It's with great effort that we pretend to be adults. I like that. That's good. That might hold up to scrutiny, actually. I think that's right. Okay. So let's see what this evidence is for the first instinct fallacy. So 2 answers seem correct, equally correct to you. Which one should you go with? So in study 1, this research was conducted at University of Illinois by Justin Kruger and some, and colleagues, or just Justin Kruger? No, I didn't say. Okay, I think just Justin Kruger. And Justin Kruger, he looked at 1,561 multiple choice exams. Took those, what do you call those things? The things, Santrons, thank you. And from a Psych 101 class at University of Illinois that had like 500 people take 3 exams. And so he got 1,561 exams, and he looked at changed answers, because you can see the eraser marks. Now, wouldn't you like to be his undergraduate research assistant and go through 1,561 exams coding where the eraser marks are? That's rough. And he looked at, in how many cases is there an answer and a clearly erased answer, no other erased answers. The person, had it down to 2 and went with 1 and had briefly gone with the other at some point, and looked at the rate of the following combinations. How many times did they have the wrong answer and they switch to the right one? So they had the wrong answer and then switch to the right one 51% of the time. How many times did they have the right answer and then switch to the wrong one? That was 25% of the time. And how many times did the wrong one and switch to the wrong one? That was pretty, unfortunately, often. So here, there's a frequency finding here that there was a bigger tendency for people to go from wrong to right to improve when they switched than to get worse when they switched. This is not tight, perfect evidence or anything, but it's interesting. A lot of people who had first and second instinct that never, put anything down. We don't know about them yet, but this is some interesting initial evidence. Also, remember that people tend to think that you should go with your first instincts. And so he had students from the class predict what the results of the study would be. And they were about right about the wrong to wrong rate. They almost got this exactly right. But in terms of the ratio of switching from wrong to right versus switching from right to wrong, they thought it was the exact opposite direction. They thought that in general when people switch, they switch from right to wrong, i.e. they shouldn't switch, right? They should stick with their first answer. They thought less often is the switch from wrong to right, an improving switch. People thought that was unusual. They believed your first instincts were better. And then, at least in these data, they were wrong. Do you understand? Okay. So, because that's the initial evidence. Study 2. Why would people have the first instinct fallacy? Why the heck would this even be the case? And their argument is perhaps it's somehow more painful to have the right answer and switch to a wrong one than have the wrong answer and not switch. Wait, what? Okay. Sorry. Damn. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Yes. If you're going to have... Yes, okay, if you're going to mess up, it's much more painful to have the right answer and then get it wrong by switching than stick with the right answer and get it wrong, So it may be the case that you somehow over-remember wrong switching and under-remember wrong staying. So I know that's weird. Okay, so maybe it's the case that because it's so painful to have the right answer and then switch to something else, you attach great significance to it mentally, whereas sticking with your first instinct and getting it wrong, that's painful as well, but not as painful. Because you don't say, oh, I almost had it, but then I lost it. And their logic here is counterfactuals. That you generate a counterfactual. What's a counterfactual? It's a what-if scenario that you entertain in your head, where you say, oh, I could have maybe gotten it right, but I switched. And so going from right to wrong, from the right answer to the wrong answer, generates this counterfactual of like, I could have got it right, but I screwed up. Well, this is very familiar to you, right? Like you experience this. When you have the right answer and you switch out of it, it's a horrible feeling. And it may be a worse feeling than